Hey, Todd here. So today I'm going to be out shooting some architectural stuff, interiors, exteriors, for a broker who just happens to be my son. So I love shooting his stuff. But anyway, I picked up this Nanlite FL-11, this zoomable Fresnel lens you can put on the Forza 60. And I thought it'd be great for doing some studio stuff with this thing. But today I thought I'd try it out and put it as like an accent rake light or something. I want to see how this thing could work in some architectural stuff to add a little accent, and hopefully try that today and see how it looks. Kind of review this thing and see how what I think. I've got some other Fresnels here, hot lights here in the studio that I've had for years. So this would be nice to see how this works on the Forza 60. But anyway, got to get out to this location. My son's waiting for me, so I got to get packed up. I got to get packed up and get out of here and meet up with him and get his shots done for him. So I got to go. So now we're at the location, and I've got the FL-11 Fresnel lens for the Forza 60 with me, and it is adjustable here from 45 degrees out to 10 degrees, so you can zoom this thing in, get a nice little rake light is what I'm going to use it for today, what I've got with me right now, and put it on the Forza 60. We've got just a little set up here that we're doing some interior shots today. I've got the 300B, the Forza, bouncing off the ceiling, giving us nice fill. And then we've got just the other ambient lights on here as well. And boy, when I bought my Forza 60, I made the mistake of not buying the B version, which I wish I would have. So now I'm gonna have to buy a B version just so I can adjust the color. So we're gonna have to gel it a little bit just to get it to match up to what the other lights are. And I'm just gonna streak it across some cupboards and just to give it a little more accent on the wood finished look of these cupboards in here, which will just be a little bit more interesting than just basic shots. So that's what we're gonna use this for today. And camera's already set up. I've got that set up right here, right there, and then the Forza 300B just bounced there, and then I've got the Forza 60 right here. So now I'm just going to put this on and get it in position. We'll take a couple shots with it on and with it off and see if it's doing what we want it to do. Okay, so we got it all in position over here. I put a gel on it to warm it up. And I got it zoomed out to 15 degrees, which I think is going to be the right streak amount. So let's do a couple shots here without it on. We're just going to add that little bit of a rake light now and see the difference and see if we like it. I've got it raking across right through here, which gives us a little more accent on that. So we'll take a look at that. Yeah, so that looks really cool. So this is working really good. And again, this is zoomed out to about 15 degrees on the zoom up there that you've got right up in there. And I think it's working really good. So we'll go back to the studio now and mess around with it in the studio on some products or a person and see how it works on that. But so far so good with the test of this little FL-11 for the Forza 60. Okay, back in the studio, and these are the two baby spotlights, 1,000-watt Fresnels that I've got in here. Nice hot lights. They do heat up the studio nicely when it's cold out because they do put off some good heat. But before we get to testing the FL-11 Nanlite Fresnel lens for the Forza 60, let's look at a before and after of the last shot. Did it really quick because I was shooting to get that interiors all done and some exteriors, and we had to catch the light right outside for that. But anyway, let's look at a before and after, and then we'll start messing around in the studio. So here's the before, just a nice, clean, simple shot of this interior, and just all the natural light, and then I've got the bounce fill back behind over here, filling in nicely, and then just added The simple, little rake light across here, it just adds a little bit of punch to it. Kind of feels like, a little bit of sunlight hitting here, adds a little bit of harder shadow here and here. But it's just kind of a nice little soft little rake, which is kind of what I wanted. It just kind of gives it a little bit more pop. If you go back to the other one, it's a little bit flat. And then you go back to this one where we've got it on, it just has a little more punch to it. It brings out these, this is like Formica on here with a wood finish, but it still just kind of brings it out nicely. A nice little rake. And yeah, it worked really good. So before, after again. So that was it. That was the before and after. I could probably put them side by side here. Get this to come down in size. There we go. There we go. So you can just kind of see the difference in the cabinet here. Just a little bit of a punch. Not a huge thing. Didn't want to overpower it. And this being the first test with it, if I was going to spend a little more time, I might have moved this to hit over here just a little bit more. But for a quick little test on the job, I'm pretty happy with it. So now let's get to messing around in the studio. So we're kind of set up here to do a little portrait thing, and that's primarily where I think I would use this, is for the background light and being able to focus it in or out to make that beam wider, tighter. That's probably where I'm going to use this little Fresnel the most. I can't say that I would use it on people. Maybe a fashion shoot, I would probably use it on somebody to get a hard light, or one of my sports things where I'm lighting an athlete and I really want that hard light, because this thing is going to give you a lot harder shadows than say a softbox like what is lighting me right now. This is going to give you a lot of hard shadow, which is kind of give you that sunlight feel, or the brightness of the sun, so you get a nice hard shadow. Then you could put something in front of it, leaves or whatever, kind of a gobo situation where you want to reflect, not reflect, but put shadows onto something where you shoot this through it, and it would give you that sunlight kind of feel. And it's super easy to mount this thing. It's just got a smaller Bowens mount that goes on this Forza 60 and just mounts right on there, and then you can just spin and adjust this guy super easy. And right now I've got one of the hot lights set up on the background just as kind of a light to have back there. But we're going to put this on a smaller stand behind me to create a little background light and see what that looks like. A couple different ways. We'll do kind of an edge streak across there, and we'll do just a little glow that would come up from behind me in an interview situation or portrait situation. That's probably where I would use this the most right now. Or again, oh crap. Sorry, I got to get this. Nope, no I don't. Spam risk. I hate those spam calls. But anyway, we're going to do a quick little setup, put this on the background, small floor stand I've got back there, and see what it looks like. We're in a portrait setup now, or interview type thing. This is again primarily where I would use this light as a background light to do some sort of accent. Right now I've got it's totally zoomed out or focused out to 45 degrees, so as wide as it can go, which is giving me kind of a nice edge light over my shoulders, a nice glow behind me, and that seems to be working really well in this situation for this portrait setup that I'm in right now, or interview setup, and it looks good. So now I think what we'll do is go about halfway, probably to like 20 degrees, and see what that looks like. Now we're set with the background at 20 degrees, which you can see is just a smaller area behind me. So that's really nice to be able to do that so quick and be able to, make a quick adjustment on the fly, so you can really dial in that look on the background that you want to have. So that's at 20. Now we're going to look, we'll zoom it all the way in, focus all the way in. So now we're at 10 degrees,
which you can barely see it. So I'm gonna tip it up just a little bit higher, which creates a pretty good hotspot on the background. You could see kind of over my shoulders where it's at, and that's maybe a little too tight, but you just play with it. And it's, again, very nice that you can do all these adjustments, the zooming in and out. I know on the bigger Fresnels that I've got over there, you can't get it in that, zoom it in that tight. So this is really a good situation how that works. And now I think I'm going to try it where I create just kind of a streak across the background, and we'll see what that looks like. So there, now I've got it going, streaking across the background like that. Just kind of another look or feel that you could go with if you like, just something a little different. And that is, again, at 10 degrees. So it's focused, zoomed all the way, whatever you want to call it. It's all the way out to give you that tight beam across there. Now we're just going to throw a little something in front of it to create that dappled light effect, that sunlight, streak it across going through something. So I'm going to put something in front of that to create that now. So now I've added a little bit of a plant in front of there really super quick to create that dappled light through, you know, some blinds or whatever, trees outside. And it works really well for that. If you were using a softer light, you just wouldn't get those shadows coming through like that. And this is really working really well for that. And you know, it's a small little light, but it's still putting out a ton of power. A lot of light coming across there to give that effect. I did zoom it out to, I put it back to about 20 degrees on the focus, so I've zoomed it back out a little bit and create a little bit bigger spread on there, but it looks really good. So it's working really, really well for what my initial needs for this Fresnel lens are. So far so good. I'm going to drop it on a product real quick and see how that looks. Decided to see how this looks on my face before I move on to a product, and it creates a nice Rembrandt light over here, nice hard shadows, which is super cool. I could definitely use this when I'm going something dramatic or shooting an athlete or something like that. The Fresnel I've got zoomed out at about 35 degrees, not fully wide yet and not all the way down, focused down. But yeah, I think it would work in many situations when you're in an interview or a nice contrasty portrait. Looks pretty good. So now let's get on to seeing what it looks like on a product. So now I'm set up for shooting a product. Didn't really have anything going on in the studio product-wise, but I'm testing to shoot some hats, and I've got a project where we're going to do a bunch of hat shots and stuff coming up. So I thought, well, this is a good time to test that as well. So I just have a simple softbox, the dome, multi-light dome over the top of the product, and then from the side, I'm bringing in the Fresnel on the Forza 60 to give the product just a little bit of an edge light, a little kick, gives us some dimension to it, add a little pop, that kind of thing I like to do. And we're playing around with the Zcam E2F6 on the slider today as well. So that's kind of fun to play around with that. So let's take a look at how this is looking with our little edge light. So now we got the product just with the top dome light on it. Do a little slide across that. And now we'll throw on the edge light, and that pops just a little bit of something on the side of the hat to give us a little bit more dimension there. So there's without, there's with. Pretty simple looking shot, just to add a little bit of that punch to the side of the hat, which is really nice. So that was just a quick look at doing a little bit of edge light with the Fresnel. Now I think what we'll do is get rid of the top dome and just use the Fresnel on the Forza 60 to see what it looks like and how much harder the shadows will be with just using that Fresnel hard light on the product. So now I have the Forza 60 up there with the Fresnel on it, and it's zoomed all the way out to 10 degrees now. So it's just creating a bit of a spot around the hat and a much harder shadow coming straight down on it. Looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to zoom it back out to 45 degrees and see how that looks, how it creates a much bigger spot on the surface around the hats. We'll do that now. Now you still see the sharper shadow, but there's more light around the whole product. So this is very flexible with this adjustable Fresnel to give you that kind of hard sunlight feel to everything, which looks really nice. That was a look at the FL-11 Fresnel lens for the Nanlite Forza 60. It worked great. I mean, the adjustability on this thing to focus it in and out, really simple. I love that little Forza 60 light. I've used it on a monopod before with a V-mount battery. I didn't have the Fresnel on it then, but it would have been nice because I could have created some more shadows through shooting through plants or something, but it worked really well on another previous job, a Doc Martin shoot I did, and I really liked it. So adding this little Fresnel to it is a great little element, little attachment accessory to put on it. I think I will use it mostly for a background light in an interview setting or portraits or something like that. It works really great to streak lights across or create that little dome light behind somebody's shoulder, the little glow. Worked really great. So I hope you like the video. I hope it gives you some idea of how to use this thing. Questions, comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm out.